Hello, my name is Andrea Moore, Master Numerologist, and today I would like to talk about Ella Fitzgerald. Ella Fitzgerald impressed me at a very early age because of a commercial she did, to be actually honest with you. There was a commercial in which she did for Memorex in which there was a picture of a wine glass and Ella Fitzgerald's voice singing in the background. And at the end of that commercial, the narrator asked, "Is it live or is it Memorex?" And that planted a seed in me that started my metaphysical journey because I was fascinated by the fact that a sound could affect matter. And I wanted to know more about the power of sound. And I started to do a tremendous amount of research in that area. And perhaps one day I'll share some of my research with you. But today I'd like to talk about the transition of Miss Ella Fitzgerald. Miss Fitzgerald made her transition on June the 15th, 1996. And a quick glance revealed three sixes. The first six comes from June, June being the sixth month of the year. And the second six comes from the day that she made her departure, which was on the 15th, and 1 plus 5 is 6. And then the third six comes at the end of her departure year, 1996. But I'm gonna focus primarily on the first two sixes since they came together. And whenever two numbers come together, they can have a very tremendous influence upon the life decisions that an individual is going to make. Unfortunately for Miss Ella Fitzgerald, her sixth energy was working in a very challenging aspect. She had a very bumpy road. The number six rules the home, the family, and love and children. So here we go. Now, her mother and father separated soon after her birth. The sixth energy rules family, and so immediately, right at the start, she didn't have her father in her life. They were separated. Her mother died of a heart attack when she was 15 years old. 1 plus 5 makes 6. She had a half sister by the name of Frances DeSiva, and she was born in 1923. Ella was born in 1917, and there's a 6-year difference there. After her mother's heart attack, Ella grades dropped dramatically, and she frequently skipped school. She was abused by her stepfather. She ran away to her aunt, and at one point she worked as a lookout at a bordello and also with a mafia-affiliated numbers runner. When authorities caught up with her, she was first placed in the Colored Orphan Asylum in a Riverdale, Bronx. However, when the orphanage proved too crowded, she was moved to the New York Training School for Girls in Hudson, New York, a state reformatory. Eventually, she escaped, and for a time, she was without a home, homeless. Okay, now, she didn't have much success in marriage either. In 1941, which is a 6 year, when you add the 1 and 9, the 4, and the 1 together, you get a 15 and brings you back down to the sixth energy. She married a guy by the name of Benny Corngate, a convicted drug dealer and local dock worker. The marriage was annulled after 2 years. Her second marriage was to another performer by the name of Ray Brown in 1947. They adopted a child that was born to Ella's half-sister, Francine, which they christened Ray Brown Jr. The child was largely raised by Ella's aunt because both Ray and Ella was busy with their careers and didn't have much time for this adopted child. And they divorced in 1953. The marriage lasted 6 years. In 1957, Reuters reported that Fitzgerald had secretly married Thor Larsen, a young Norwegian. The affair was quickly forgotten when Larsen was sentenced to 5 months hard labor in Sweden for stealing money from a young woman to whom he had previously been engaged. Now, those double sixes, when added together, create the vibration of the three. It was the three energy that propelled her on stage because 6 plus 6 is 12 and 1 plus 2 equals 3. And that three energy rules the stage, it rules music. Initially, she wanted to be a dancer, but she was intimidated by a group of dancers that was on stage, so she decided to sing. And boy, aren't we glad she made that decision. But she was very shy as well. She had a strong 2 influence, which comes from her birth cycle. I'm not going to break down the birth cycles, but I wanted to interject at this point that she was very reserved and very shy as an individual because she had a very strong 2 influence. But nevertheless, her double sixes propelled her on stage and allowed her to find some type of relief from that six energy by performing and making other individuals happy. Now, her transitional year was 1996, and we see that pesky six still plaguing her. But she found peace in God because when you add 1996 together, you come back to a 25 compound number reduced down to the number 7, and the 7 energy always rules God. So she found peace in God. The 7 energy just is a step higher than that 6 vibrational energy. Let's continue. So when you add all 3 of her transitional numbers together, that would be the 6 for June, the day that she departed on, which was the 15th, which is a 6, and then 1996, when you add those 4 sub-elements together, you get 25 reduced down to the 7. When you add the 6 and the 6 and the 7 together, or when you stack them together, you get 2017. Now, the first sub-element revealed a hidden vibration of 3 because 2 plus 1 is 3, which is the voice, which is also was giving her fuel to be on stage and to sing. The third and fourth sub-element, which is the 1 and the 7, was the hidden vibration of the 8, which also was contributing to her fame and to her fortune. And when you add all 4 of her sub-elements together, you get the vibration of the number 1. Ella Fitzgerald was number 1 in her profession. She had 13 Grammys awards. No one could touch her at the time. Even though on a personal level, she was challenged when it came to love and to marriages and just a very rocky adolescent. But in her profession, she was number 1. She was all the way at the top of her game. Now, at the time of her departure, she was 79. The 7 energy carries the power because it's the first number. And so she found relief in her spiritual connectiveness with God. And the 9 energy represented that she was very unselfish and she was able to give back to the world. She was a supporter of many different charities, even though she was low-key. Once again, she didn't boast about what she did because of her shyness, but she was a supporter of many charities and nonprofits, including the American Heart Association and the City of Hope Medical Center. In 1993, she established the Ella Fitzgerald Charitable Foundation. And when you add the 7 and 9 together, it's going to bring you back to the number 7, which is the number of peace, because God is very peaceful. So let me show you real quick her vibrational frequency on paper, and then you probably get a better visual of what I'm talking about. These are her transitional numbers here, as you can see, the 6 energy over here, the 6 energy over here, and then you see the 15, which drops down to a 6, and then you see that third 6 right there in 1996. When you drop the two sixes together, you create this 3 vibration right here, okay? And so this 3 energy right here, propelled her onto the stage. But all of these sixes here really, like I said in my analysis, it was a kind of bumpy road for her, and she probably had a bumpy road throughout her whole life, trying to deal with that whole vibration of love and marriage and children. Based on my research, I didn't uncover any information that she ever mothered any children. She did adopt her half sister's child, Ray Brown Jr. Ray Brown Jr. was with her when she died. She died at home. She died of complications of diabetes. Unfortunately, both of her legs had to be amputated. But she had found peace. She was in her backyard, and she was with nature, and she was ready to go. Like I said, she had this very strong peace with God at the end of her life. And as you can see, that that the 7 right here, 1925 was the 7. But then when you look over here, when I stack them this way, you see she did have fame and money, and she did know money. That's what that 8 is representing. And this 2 and this 1 makes that 3 energy, means that she had one of the most beautiful voices, and she could scat like nobody else. At the time, and actually, since then, I really haven't heard anybody that can scat like Ella Fitzgerald. So it's kind of sad that she never could really, find love, and the men that she was attracted to either was, ex-convicts or spent time in jail. But she wanted those experiences for her development and for her growth, and I just, like I said, she made a strong impression on me. So rest in peace, Ella Fitzgerald. Tomorrow, I'm going to still take you back in the day. We're going to take a look at the king. That's Nat King Cole, one of the most velvet voices that mankind has ever had the pleasure to listen to. So until the next video, I would like for everybody to keep their heads up and remember that you are a bright and morning star. And I want you to follow that star and let that light, that star, lead you to your Christ. Only thing you have to do is look within. We're so busy looking at what's in front of us, and we get so caught up in what's going on in our outer world, in our outer environment, that we don't really understand the beauty that's going on within us. There's a vastness, an unexplored vastness that resides within each and every one of us. So take a look within. Let me leave this. Let me leave this with you. I'll ask you a question. 2 questions. They both related. First question is, have you looked at the heavens above you? Second question, have you looked at the heavens within you? Peace.